Welcome back to a new What If Naruto Was a Prodigy and Neglected Part 1. Disclaimer, I don't own Naruto nor this fanfic. Naruto the Neglected Prodigy. Chapter 1, The Attack and the Beginning. Tio-san. Tio-san, yelled a child at the age of 5, this child's name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. When am I going to meet my sisters and brothers? He asked. Minato looked at him in shock. He never told Naruto that they were going to have quadruplets. Naruto, who told you that? For all we know, you might just get a sister, Minato told Naruto so he can surprise him later. He saw Naruto was about to retort and said, "Now come on, let's get inside, it's almost dinner." With that said, both father and son went to greet their mother/wife at the dinner table. 5 weeks later. Minato. This the, second time you put it hurts. Don you, Minato. Yelled Kushina as she squeezed Minato's ham till the cried in agony. That's when the last of the babies came out. Kushi-chan, thank you, Minato said as he cried of joy and pain as they looked at quadruplets. Aren't they beautiful? I can't wait to surprise Narukun when we get back, he said. The moment that happened, he heard screams and then a thud coming from the door, and in came a man wearing an orange spiral mask. We all know what's going to happen next, so I'm going to skip to the end of the battle. 5 hours later. Minato and Kushina held their babies while crying for the death of their Sandaime Hokage, who sacrificed his life to seal the Kyuubi's chakra and soul to the 3 children. While that happened, Anbus and Jonins appeared at the battle site while Chunins are protecting the civilians. Get the Sandaime's body to the hospital so it can be buried tomorrow, ordered their Yondaime, Minato, as he regained his voice back. Minato and Kushina rushed home to see if Naruto was okay and see if he followed directions if this kind of thing happens, meaning Naruto getting into the vault. When they got there, they were happy to see Naruto okay. After that, the Yondaime and his family, except Naruto, he was sleeping because of the long day he had, went to town square to tell the people of Konoha the Kyuubi is no more. People of Konoha, I have great news and sad news. The great news is that the Kyuubi is no more. And sealed within my children. Before you ask me to kill my children, I will ask youths, if a water is in a jar, do you immediately say it's water, or will you say it's a separate being? Minato asked. This got the people thinking and then yelled, it's a separate being. Then I present to you the heroes of Konoha, Narumi, Naomi, and Hiruzen. You may ask me why I named my son after the third. That is the bad news. He died a heroic death by sealing the Kyuubi in my children. Now please have a moment of silence for the third, Minato told the village, and with that the village prayed for all the loss of today's horrific event. 6 years after the attack. There were people in the backyard of the Uzumaki Namikaze household. They were talking and laughing while eating some ramen, which was the most popular food in the household. They were resting after the first day of their training, you know, the simple stuff, kunao and shuriken throwing. There were 2 6-year-old girls talking to a redhead. The one on the left was around 3-7 and has red hair and sky blue eyes. She was wearing a short fighting style kimono. She is known as Naomi Uzumaki Namikaze. She's also the youngest of the twins. The girl on the right is about the same height but a few centimeters taller. She has a pale blonde hair with some red hair lights. She was wearing black Enbu style pants and wore a grey t-shirt with it. This girl's name is Narumi Uzumaki Namikaze. So Kaa-san, when are we going to learn some cool ninjutsus? Asked Naomi. She is also the most hyper of the 3 triplets. As soon as you master all the exercises, we will begin to teach you that, replied Kushina Uzumaki Namikaze. But before that, me and Tio-san are going to teach you how to master the Baijuyu chakra. What do you say? She asked with excitement. Awesome, Kaa-san. Are you really going to teach us that? Asked the first olds. This child's name is Hiruzen Uzumaki Namikaze. He was wearing the same thing as Narumi, but instead the opposite colors of hers. He stood at 3'9", which was pretty tall. He sun-kissed hair with some black streaks. Yes, Hiruzen, but you're going to have to master this first, said the father of the three. This man's name is Minato Namikaze, and often of the Second Great Ninja War, and now known as the Yandere and the Yellow Flash. Hiruzen pouted, but then it turned into a goofy smile and said, okay. Then what are we waiting for? He yelled with determination and started to train again. That earned him a laugh from the whole family and began training again. People might think this is the example of a perfect family. If anyone would have looked up, they would have seen a boy at the age of 11 on the window looking down at his family. Why am I always the one left out, he thought, while letting out a single tear flow down on his face. This boy's name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze. He's about 5'4", which is tall for a 11-year-old, is it tall idk? He was wearing a black t-shirt with a swirl on the back and some white. Reason he thought this is because ever since he was 5 years old he's been asking for training, but the answer was no. But back then they have an excuse for that because his siblings were still a baby, but now they were old, and when he asked if he could get training now, the answer was still no. He asked if he could join his siblings with training, but the answer was the same. Sorry Naruto, we have to train them so they can control the fox and something can go wrong, so the answer is no. That doesn't mean he didn't train himself. He's mastered all the academy jutsus at the age of 6 and mastered all the Shakura exercises. But one time during training he met someone that's like him being ignored, and they started training together, and his name is Shisui Uchiha. Flashback. Naruto was going to his usual training ground until he saw a boy about his age at the training ground where he usually goes. He was about to go until he saw the pain the boy was feeling by looking in his eyes. He went to the training ground and hid, but he accidentally stepped on a stick that was in his way. The boy that was training got on guard and yelled, "Come on out, I know you're there, so no point in hiding." Naruto had no choice but step out and show himself. He knew the boy was an Uchiha because he was wearing the red and white fan on the back of his high-collar shirt. The boy was also seizing him up. "Who are you and what are you doing here?" he asked. Naruto stared at him with a neutral expression and said, "You know it's bad manners to ask others their name first, but whatever, my name is Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze, nice to meet you, and I've been training here since I'm 7 years old. May I know your name now?" The Uchiha looked shocked to hear the name of the most famous family said with such venom, and he didn't even know they had another son yet. "Yeah, I know nobody knows I even exist since that day, so what's the matter with you? You seem upset about something?" asked Naruto. The boy's hair overshadowed his eye as he said with such venom, "My name is Shisui Uchiha, and as to why I'm pissed, you should learn to mind your own business." Naruto was shocked to hear an Uchiha talk about their own title with such venom, because usually they would always boast about their clan and how great their Sharingan is. "Tell you what, how about I tell you a secret why I've never been heard about, and you tell me why you're upset," said Naruto. Seeing the boy nodded hesitantly, he began to tell them about their ways and how they would neglect him and would never let him train, and how he snuck off and found a training ground that was never used to train. Shisui was shocked to learn that the boy he was talking to were just like him. And he began to tell his own story, how his parents always compares him to the Uchiha prodigy Itachi Uchiha. And how he is so weak that he doesn't deserve to be called an Uchiha, and that he should just stop calling himself one. Naruto was surprised to hear that and told the boy he could train here with him at the training ground and maybe spar with him sometime. Flashback end. Ever since that day they started to grow closer and closer to each other and became good friends. Naruto was walking to the training ground and saw Shisui practicing the Uchiha Taijutsu, the interceptor style. He just recently awakened his Sharingan during the sparring match between him and Naruto, and ever since he's been trying to perfect and try to beat Naruto using that. Naruto is a bit better than him Taijutsu, and he's better at ninjutsu than Naruto. With that, Naruto began to train in his ninjutsu. 2 years later. Fire style, fireball jutsu. There was a huge fireball coming straight for a blonde teenager. Said teenager dodged with a kawarimi with a log. Whew, that was close, got to. Watch out for that one, thought Naruto. Right now he was sparring with his best friend Shisui. You got lucky, but I'll get you, said Shisui. They began a taijutsu match until dark. I'll let you decide if I should put the fight scenes. Well, that was fun, said an exhausted Naruto. They've been sparring since noon and tomorrow was the graduation exam for the academy. Yup, and tomorrow's the graduation, and hey, isn't your siblings taking the exam too? The Uzumaki Namikaze siblings started school early, asked Shisui. He was surprised when he first heard that they joining the academy and skipping all the way to the graduating class to graduate earlier. Flashback 2 years ago. Okay class, I have great NE. Irika Umino stopped talking and a tick mark appeared on his forehead. Shut up and sit down, he said using his infamous big head jutsu. The class stopped talking and sat down. Okay, good. As I was saying, I have great news today. We have 3 new students, he said with a smile and motion for the figures waiting at the door. Come in. The class was silent to see the Hokage and his family come in. Some girls were squealing at the sight of Hiruzen, and guys had hearts in their eyes seeing Naomi and Narumi. The Hokage spoke. Hello kids, today I have decided to have my children joining your class, and they will be graduating with your class too. Naruto narrowed his eyes seeing his father. And what he was saying, how's that fair? They didn't do anything and didn't even work, while the rest of the class have to work hard to come this far, and we had to start from the beginning, and plus it's wrong sending kids this early to be a ninja, he thought. Shisui, looking at his friend, saw him clearly not happy, put a hand on his shoulder. Naruto looked at the hand on his shoulder, knowing that things will be okay, and with that the Hokage and his wife left the room and the 3 siblings sat down. Flashback end. Yeah, but not my problem, it's their problem. They sent them into the ninja world, said Naruto. They were on the grass looking at the stars because Naruto was locked out again. Well, you think we should keep on acting like dopes for the test tomorrow, even though it's great training and nobody has known that we were holding back, he said. He and Naruto have been keeping their abilities a secret so they don't cause attractions. Every time they have test they just scored the minimum scare and sometimes fail on purpose, so nobody will get caught on the patterns they doing, which was a pretty smart idea. And as expected, the Uzumaki Namikaze kids were top on class. Yeah, we should. If we suddenly show off how strong we are, they'll get suspicious and bother us. How troublesome. Somewhere a 8-year-old Shikamaru sneezed. How troublesome, someone must be taking my line, he thought lazily and fell asleep. True, you want to come to my place tonight? He asked. Shisui was now kicked out of his family house, but they gave him enough money to survive and he bought himself a small apart outside the Uchiha clan district. Ever since then Naruto spent his night at his place when he got locked out. Yes sure, said as they got up. They fell into a loose hole on the ground. You alright Shisui? He ached. He was a little banged up but he can still move. Seeing Shisui nod, they looked around and saw all different things in there, including some experimental things. Some were human and some were animals. They widened their eyes at the symbol on the wall. It was. They widened their eyes at the symbol on the wall. It was the symbol of a snake and a very familiar time-space seal in the room. In fact, the seal was for the Hirae Shin. Naruto was surprised seeing such experiments were being held here. And all the humans in there were people who have been missing for a while, including shinobis. They were turned into this monster-like being. Just picture zombies or devils. Some were eating each other or themselves. What the hell is this place? Asked Naruto. He was going through the notes on the drawl, and it appears his father has something to do with this. Notes. Orochimaru and I have been kidnapping shinobis and civilians to conduct experiments on them. We are currently still trying to remake the Mokuton, and if it succeeds we will exterminate the things in this lab, but so far there are still flaws in these chemicals we are making. We have tried to put these chemicals in bloodline users and non-bloodline users, and I feel we are missing a piece, some type of blood resemblance to the Senju, but I will not allow my children to be tested upon, and if possible I will try to help them unlock that power when I find out the affinities they have. Kushina won't allow me to do it, if only I had another blood relations to the Uzumaki. There is Naruto, but he's too weak to test it. On in he'll be of no use, but we are looking for another way to make it happen without harming the person we're experimenting on. Note end. We have to destroy this place before it's too late, thought Naruto. Hey Shisui, help me destroy this place before it's too late, said Naruto. Okay so shhh. Some son's coming, let's get out of here, whispered Shisui. With that done, they jumped up to the hole and ran as fast as they can away from the lab. We'll destroy it later or inform the council about that lab, and the Hokage is working with Orochimaru of all people, said a frustrated Shisui. I know, but no adults will believe us. Even if we say something, we'll have to come back before everything is done. They just got out of the training ground and into the shopping district. People were still shopping, so they don't have to run anymore. Meanwhile, back in the lab. Someone's been here, said a blonde man. Yakukiku, looks like we have some pests who found my lab, said a tall figure that looks like a pedophile. Orochimaru, we shouldn't take this lightly, said the blonde. It'll be alright, I'll put down a few surprises just in case they decide to visit again, said Orochimaru. Minato looked at him and nodded, and they continued their research. Back to Naruto and Shisui. The two were discussing what to do with the lab and when they should destroy it. But what if they know we've been there and set up a few traps, Shisui said. Hey, don't forget I can detect a lot of things living and non-living, so I got that covered, but the question is, should we kill the people they experimented on, or should we try to find a way to turn them back? Asked Naruto. The two were in deep thoughts in that question. They looked out the window and saw Itachi Uchiha staring at them through the window and jumped in surprise. Even though Naruto can feel presence, he can't feel someone when he got something in mind. What are the two dopes doing, having a sleepover? Asked Itachi mockingly. Yo Itachi, what are you doing here? Asked Shisui, ignoring the remark. Well, you know, I was just in the neighborhood and decided to come and see you, so what are you doing? He asked again. Naruto and Shisui stared at each other. Don't you have enbu duties? Asked Naruto. Oh yeah, almost forgot, I came here to say bye, and with that he disappeared in a leaf shunshin. We should go to sleep, it's 10 a.m. already and the graduation, and with that the two guys went to bed. The next day, graduation. Naruto and Shisui walked to the academy. When they got there, the class was as usual very noisy. Naruto saw his siblings glaring at him. Looks like the two dopes are here, they shouldn't have come. Hiruzen said, you'll just humiliate yourselves, so you should just quit now. Naruto can see the irritation coming from Shisui's eyes and put a hand on his shoulder to reassure him. Shut up and sit down, yelled Iruka. Yup, just a typical academy day except a few changes. Iruka began his whole speech about the ninja world and how it's dangerous and stuff. When he finished, the test started, and like said before, Naruto and Shisui just scored enough to pass through the Kunao and Shuriken throwing and the written test, and yup, the Namikaze children got first place on both. Okay class, the next test will be on Taijutsu. Mizuki said, you will only have to stay in the ring for 3 minutes, but you can try to knock me out if you'd like to try. One by one the civilian shinobi in training fall or passing. Next were the clan heads' children came. The winners were Shikamaru, Ino, Koji, Kaiba Hinata, and Shino. Right now, Hiruzen fighting Mizuki, who was having slight trouble. Mizuki knocked him out with his siblings but received severe injuries himself, so Iruka had to finish the Taijutsu portion, and yup, you guessed it, Naruto and Shisui stayed for 3 minutes and give up. Yeah, I'm still working on fight scenes, sorry. At the end of the exam, half of the classes made it to Genin and the other half stayed 3 more years. Hiruzen got Rookie of the Year, and Suzuki coming up next. Narumi made Kunoichi of the Year, following up Naomi, then Sakura, Suzuki's #1 fangirl. We all know who the dead lasts are, so no need to mention it. After graduation, Naruto and Shisui were walking out of the academy and saw the Hokage and his wife greeting their kids and ask where they should celebrate. They walked past Naruto and Shisui, who half bowed to them. I heard Itachi killed the whole Uchiha clan except for you and Suzuki last night, said Naruto. Yet I wouldn't blame him, their arrogance led them to their downfall, and I guess that's why attack is said by last night, said Shisui, and Naruto nodded. Let's go celebrate, and after this we're going to go destroy that lab we found. With that they went to their favorite dango stand. Few hours later, with Naruto and Shisui, they were sneaking to the lab they found earlier and made a different hole. They reached down, there were a few more experiments that were found that disgusted them. They set up explosive tags all over the underground lab and avoided all the traps being put. All done, let's go. They got out and set the bomb off. They ran off, but Naruto was caught by a pair of hands, and Shisui got no choice but to run. They had planned for this to happen, and Naruto told him the plan and where they might send him after. He just nodded to Naruto and saw him nod back, him giving the affirmation. He kept running with tears in his eyes and turned around one more time because they won't be seeing each other for a long time. Well, what do we have here? Said the figure. How have you been, son? Ota-san will have to punish you for doing this to all the year's work, Naruto growled at him, and with that Minato beat Naruto till he knocked out, which was a lot of blows. The next day, Naruto, you have been found guilty for trying to experiment and experimented on the citizens and shinobis of Konoha, and it was thanks to the Hokage that your evil deeds are stopped, the council said, and we should have executed you, but we instead will send you to an island prison where you can't escape from and where nobody can break you out. Naruto thought, I already know you were going to send me there, for which I already created a seal that can dispel the Shakura block thing they put on you in the prison. Flashback. The night before the graduation. Okay, most likely they're waiting for us to blow up the lab and show up after we're out of the cave lab, or they're trusting the traps they set up for us, said Naruto. They could also do both. That's why I came up with a plan, and if they send me to prison, I got made a seal that can stop the stopping of my Shakura, and I'll put it on before we blow the place up. Okay, but what do I do if you go to prison? Asked Shisui. Wait a couple years and I know where the likely place they're going to send me to, so I stole some money from the Hokage's family and hired a craftsman to build a boat that's made of solid model that I designed. Naruto brought out the map and the model of the boat. The only reason I'm asking you to break me out a couple years later is because you were always with me, and they will most likely discriminate you, so you have to gain their trust enough so that they don't arrest you too. I get the idea. So you're saying I gain their trusts, and when I do you want me to wait a couple more years so that they don't be suspicious? Asked Shisui, seeing Naruto nod. They began to plan which route to take to reach the island, and a route that has the least dangerous points, which were a very few. Flashback end. Naruto is in a cage throughout Konoha, and people were either spitting on him or throwing rotten foods at him. He saw his classmates look at him in disgust, also Shisui, who was pretending to do the same, so it'll look like he never knew about it. Guards from the prison was waiting for Naruto at the gates. So this is the little bastard that has been experimenting on people, hey? Asked the guard, seeing the guy that carried Naruto. Nod. They put the on the wagon they brought, and with that they took Naruto and rode away to the docks. Few days later, Naruto was unlocked from his cage and got on Shakura resistant seals. Wow, kids these days really cause troubles. Hey, put him away, said the leader of the guards. Naruto was brought to a room with another child in there his age. They pushed him in and locked the cell door. Well, this is unexpected, said Naruto. I didn't expect a kid my age would be in prison. I'm Naruto. What's your name? He asked. The name's Ryuuzesu, and you should speak yourself, said the girl. And why are you here anyways? Well, I've been framed by my neglectful family that I was experimenting on humans. What about you? He answered and asked. I came with my friend Mako here. I was framed for his death and they put me in this cell, she said sadly, with a few tears rolling down her cheeks. Naruto went to comfort her, and with that they fell asleep in each other's arm, and neither of them knew that this was the start of a great friendship. It's been a couple months since Naruto was in prison and he already made a friend. Her name was Ryuuzesu. They were in jail for similar reasons, one on framed murder and one on framed illegal experiments. Right now we find them at lunch talking. What should we do today? Should we prank more people? If you want, I came up with a devious prank, said A blonde preteen at the height of 5'7". Nah, if we do pranks too often they'll suspect us, after all we are just brats to them. A girl with white hair and about 5'4" replied, bored. And if we do that too often we'll get bored of it fast, and I'm up for some training. Even though our chakra is blocked, Naruto helped her get rid of it. You know, the seal he created back in chapter 4, doesn't mean we can't train, she stated. Ya wouldn't want to get rusty now, do we, Ryuzasu? Naruto said, and after that we can have a little fun, he whispered into her ear. Ryuzasu blushed and started to stutter. I was just joking, said Naruto as he laughed his ass off at the look he received from her. Baa baka! She yelled with blush while bonking him on the head. Konoha. Minato was not having a good month. All the files in the lab were burnt and all the subjects were gone, plus now he have to relocate the lab and not cause suspicions for the council. Damn you, Naruto, least you're out of my hair now, but I should have came earlier and grab all the notes. Oh well, what's done is done, he thought. Right now he was in his office, looking at some maps of Konoha to pick where to put his lab and build it without causing any unwanted attention. Just then a shadow appeared in the corner. Kukiko, looks like you're having a bad month, and oh, you don't have to find a place anymore, we're going to build it in the Forest of Death. And it's perfect because if we have a Chunin exams here we don't have to kidnap the civilians anymore, instead we use other village ninjas, he said with a pedophile voice. Meanwhile, elsewhere in Konoha, Shisui was training non-stop since Naruto was brought to prison. Why do I have to be such a burden? He thought while punching a log post till it broke in half. No more, I won't be a burden anymore, he yelled to the heavens. Just then his Sharingan was spinning wildly until it stopped on an odd pattern, and with it he passed out because of the Mungekyo Sharingan's pain. He didn't notice a man with a bandaged eye and a scar on his chin watched him with greed of power. Back to Naruto. In a grassless field we see two people staring each other down to see who was going to make the first move. Just then the field started being charged with electrifying blurs and we can hear clanks and clangs coming from the weapons they were using. Fire style, fire dragon jutsu! Yelled Naruto, just as he unleashed his attack. The defendant is making hand signs herself. You're going down, Naruto. Water style, water dragon jutsu! She yelled, using the puddles left by a rainstorm. The two attacks clashed and created steam. Both were using the steam to get the advantage, and we can hear swishes, kicks, and punches all over the field. When the steam cleared we see both combatants injured. They began to stare each other down again. You've gotten stronger, said Naruto with a smirk. But sorry, it's time to get serious, and that means you too. Yeah, let's. And with that they continued sparring until dark. Ryuzasu was about to collapse but caught by Naruto. You know, you're always more beautiful when you never stop until the end, he thought. That's what I love about you. Even though he won't admit it, he was always fond of being around her, and when they're not his heart felt like it was missing something. The next morning, we find Naruto and Ryuzasu sleeping in when guards walk up to their cell banging on it and told them to get ready for the examination. It was this time of year again, an examination to check if you have any dangerous virus and to check if you don't got anything you're not supposed to have. They sighed and got up and left to the examination room. After they were finished they decided to prank the guards by doing stuff to the bathrooms the guards were using. Right now they were looking at the clock and it struck 8 a.m. They heard gushings and yelling from the guards' bathroom. On cue the guards were rushing into the dining covered in poop. As they were about to open the door, the trap on top of the door fell on them, making them covered in porridge. Now they were fuming while all the prisoners were laughing. After that the prisoners went to collect everything they won and the losers groan. This always happen after a prank. It's like the two prankers are the ones who brought joy and exciting days to the prisoners. Now we find Naruto and Ryuzasu in the dungeon alone together like always after a prank. They were leaning on each other's back and talking about what pranks they should do on the guards next, and like always they come up with crazy ideas others can never think of. Namikaze household. Kushina was preparing breakfast for her children and husband. She can tell her husband was stressed because of the loss of all the research they did, which took years to come to where they were and now it's all gone down. That Kaki Naruto will pay for what's he's done to my beloved and it will be very painful if we ever sees him again. Kushina with a scowl. What's wrong Kaa-san, are you thinking about the human kidnapper and killer again? Naomi asked. She never really liked her older brother so she didn't care if her parents kills him or not. Don't worry honey, Kaa-san will kill him for what he's done to the village, Kushina said, and after she said that Hiruzen and Narumi came in and started agreeing with their mother. Kushi-chan, can I talk to you in private, please? Asked Minato. Seeing her nod, they went to the bedroom and put on silencing seal. I have great news. Orochimaru has found a great place for where the lab will be, and he said he was able to remember all the notes we've taken with a seal he created. He said excitingly and hugged his wife while she crushed his spine. I'm so glad. So where will the new location? She asked. It's in the Forest of Death, so we won't have to kidnap villagers anymore and instead kidnap other villagers' ninjas. He explained. That's a great idea and it won't cause any commotion for us, she said and kissed her husband passionately. After that they went back downstairs and joined the kids and ate. Prison cell. It's been a week since Naruto and Ryuuzuisu were in the dungeon and they are getting closer and closer. Today was the day they will be let out and they can finally continue training and pranking again. Thank you for watching. I hope you have enjoyed this what if. Please like, comment and subscribe. Also don't forget to share this video with your friends.